So before we begin, the simple thing that this video is trying to imply is the fact that I don't sing. Come to think of it, Dope Destiny sounds more like a band name than a YouTube channel. I can just imagine me and my bandmates going around the world and performing. Except, I can't sing. At all. And I don't know why my family didn't understand that sooner. Until a few years back, my family had tortured me due to the misconception that I had the ability to sing. And God knows why. Because from a really young age, I made it pretty clear that I was into drawing. I would scribble for hours and hours on whatever I found in my house magazines, newspapers, whatever it was. And what did I end up going to? A music class. To be honest, I was kind of dragged into it by my parents because my twin used to sing a lot, so my family members always motivated my parents to give him professional training. Since they didn't want me to feel left out, while I was supposed to be making legendary artworks, I was there practicing my vocals. When you're 6, it's not that big of a deal other than the fact that it's pretty boring. But somehow when you're 9 and you see that it's still going on, then you know you should put a stop to it. My first music class ended pretty soon. I don't know how or why, but it just did. I was 9 at the time, but then my brother sang for more people and they gave out more of their valuable motivation, which resulted in me ending up in another music class. There were around 5 kids in that class, and it was a daily 1 hour class. And to be honest, it was kind of a turning point for me because it totally convinced me how time was relative. 1 hour used to feel like nothing when I was doing something else, especially drawing. But in a music class, it was the slowest 1 hour of my life. A family friend also joined the music class because of a deal my parents gave. It was that if we sit for an hour of the music class, we'll get to play soccer for the next 2 hours. But the funny thing is, there was no extra hour for football, which didn't bother me much because I wasn't a huge fan of physical activities. But the one thing that did bother me was that when any family member visits, they always want me to sing a verse or two, which to be fair, can't blame them. The minute someone asks me to sing, my parents give me the biggest death glare, demanding to prove that their money was being spent for the right thing. I always backed out of it with some excuse because I was never confident enough to sing. But then I realized that every time I was doing this, I was disappointing the guests and my parents. And from that time, every time someone visited, I would run upstairs to avoid confrontation. Not trying to brag, but sometimes my maturity shocked my parents. Before things got more complicated, this music class also ended, and at that time I was 12. During this time, I started getting into reading books, making comics, and watching movies. And then a little something called puberty hit me, and my voice changing really gave it away. My new voice was even more annoying. It was clear from everybody's perspective that my voice wasn't exactly soothing. But the only thing in my mind was that I wouldn't have to sing anymore. Less than a month later, I found myself being dragged into another music class. But this class was different because till then, every class I ever attended had less than 5 kids. But this class had around 50. 50 kids meant 50 distinctive voices singing the same notes. I realized that in this class, I wouldn't actually have to sing. The other 50 kids would do that job for me. All I had to do was act like I was singing and move my lips accordingly. The teacher had the luxury of guessing that any one of those 50 beautiful voices belonged to me. My plan was really working for a few minutes. My acting was so advanced that I thought I really deserved an award. But then, after making everybody sing together, she started making kids sing each note individually. Maybe my plan wasn't that advanced after all. Let's just say while it was my chance to sing, it did not go well. I was scarred for the rest of my life. I'm sure if I continued with that music class, I would have been a renowned singer by now. But the next day, I had terrible stomachache and I couldn't attend the class. And on the third day, my legs felt so numb that I couldn't even get up to go to the class. It was like some negative energy didn't want me to attend the class. As days progressed, my health condition started becoming worse and worse. I was so sad when mom said I didn't have to go to the classes anymore. But after that, my health condition progressed very fast. But I'm sure those two events have nothing to do with each other. Anyway, that was my last music class. Though I'm not a big fan of singing, I love listening to music. It helps soothe my brain and energize me. After all this, my respect for professional musicians has grown massively. Though I'll always be a fan of music and musicians, I'll never go back to singing. Because what this video was trying to imply was the fact that I don't sing.